Hi, this is the Daily Spark Day 19 question. Yeah, January 19th. This says, where do I assume agency is singular and localized rather than distributed across systems, relationships, and constraints? Oh my God. This is wild because this morning I was listening to one of the I almost said station, that tells you how old I am. One of the YouTube channels I watch where they hold group sessions. They have like a community and they'll post their group sessions where they talk to a bunch of people that come to ask questions. And one of the discussions today, this morning, that I was listening to was about this very thing. That's why my mind is blown, because I think about this from time to time, this idea of free will. And that's what I take. It's like, where do I assume agency is singular and localized? Like my sense of agency, my free will, rather than distributed across systems, relationships, and constraints, which makes me think of causes and conditions versus like there. Spoiler alert, there's no free will. Even though what I've loved to believe for the longest time is that like the fundamental law of the universe and the way it works is like this idea of we have free will, and that is our sense of agency, that it's not just deterministic or fatalistic. It is, we have, I don't like the word control, but we have influence through our own desires and actions about the course our life takes and the way it plays out. However, you hear a lot of people talk, especially in certain circles, and one of those circles was the one I'm talking about this morning, is where there really isn't free will. It's just things are happening, and I think about this a lot lately, the last year, about how the farther I go down this path or whatever I'm on of like looking at this stuff, is things are just happening. Things are just happening. And I can't even, like, the humility part of this is like, I'm not even going to presume to know all the millions of little interactions that have taken place that have led to these things that are just happening, or this direction, that I'm going, this path I'm going down, literally and figuratively. And so, like, what even is this sense of agency? Like, so where do I assume agency is singular and localized? I've always assumed that my agency was mine, singular, and it was localized from like here, like from me outward. Like, here's what I want to do, and I'm gonna do it, and look, I just did it, and XYZ, those are the results. Like, it just felt very like A plus B equals C, and I have all the control that I want to have over my life and this, where I'm going, what I'm doing. And then the more I really like inquire and try to look at things, it's like, whoa, there's a kind of a flow and a direction, I feel like, that is happening. And what is free will? Do I have where it takes me to is this sense of self, and looking at what is the self. And we talked about this yesterday, day before, in some video. Like, selfing is happening, but there is no self doing it. There is no I that I can look and say, oh, there it is. Oh, wait, there it is. Oh, there it is. And I think about this a lot because I do. And so this idea of free will, it feels like an illusion, because what I at least know to be true is that there is no self. Um, there are bodily sensations. There are things appearing. Things are just like happening. I don't even know if I like that word. I just like appearing. And that can happen in sound. It's not just visual appearances, but things are arising or appearing. And there's no I who is doing anything. There's the sensation in my left hip right now. It feels like I can tell I can sense my boundaries a little bit if I really like immediately. But then the more I place my attention in my boundaries, they dissolve. So even my physical self feels like it's an illusion as well. It gets pretty trippy. So I really like this question, especially today. That's so mind-blowing that I was literally listening to a conversation about this morning, 5 hours ago. That this idea that things are about causes and conditions, like distributed across systems, relationships, and constraints that I can't even perceive. They're outside of my realm of perception that have led to this moment where I'm sitting here doing this thing's happening. And it's hard to talk about because it depends on what your framework is or the context of the moment, or like it feels like it depends on so much and then nothing at all. I just want to sit here and laugh because but then, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to do. And so it takes me to that place of like, the self is an illusion. Free will is something we like to talk about because we feel like, oh, I can actually do things. And it on some level, it does feel like that. Like I can do this. I had free will to turn on this thing and do it and take a drink of water and all the things. But then it's like, could anything... Yeah, I still love to noodle on this idea because I feel like things only make... I feel like I want to go read a Blake Crouch novel now. I really do. He breaks my brain. He's kind of like a science fiction writer, but usually about time and dimensions and all the things. I don't know what else to say about this because I still personally am in that mode of inquiry into the selfing and saying, what is this? What is this? Not who is this? I don't like that question. Like, who is this? When people inquire about into the nature of self, like, who am I? That does nothing for me. And in fact, it seems to reify the sense of a self that you're trying to inquire into. So it's like, it doesn't work for me. It works for a lot of people, I hear, but I don't like it. I do like, what is this? But even that I don't like. What's my question? I feel like I've landed on a couple questions that are like kind of bear some fruit once in a while. I'm trying to remember what they are. It's like, oh, there was one today I thought of. Oh, shoot. Oh, I wish I could remember it. It was like, it was almost like I think somebody was talking about a practice of like, okay, here I am. And if I want to try to come outside of myself and turn around and look back at myself, like, let's say you're with two people and you're with another person, you try to see yourself as if they see you. And there's something in that like separating, like bringing your sense of the agent in you. We're talking about agency, so let's just call it the agent in you that can like come out of the physical or out of this POV, this perspective, and turn around and look back at this. Then it's like, it feels like a very interesting interesting practice of like, what just happened? What just happened? What felt like it could do that? I know I'm not coming across real clear, and that's on me. I'm not finding the right words today. But it's like, there's something just so, I want to do that more and really feel into that. The illusion, I think, it must be an illusion, everything is, where I can feel that agent trying to do that. And that's the illusion, is just like, all that is here is the sensations. Thoughts are happening, sensations are happening, but who are they happening to? There's no entity that has a cohesive experience of all of that through time. It's just happening. It's like I feel like the crux of this is like, don't you feel like as a sense of self, you're a collector of all of your experiences, all of the sensations, all of the thoughts, all of the happenings? It's like you're a collector. Who's the collector? I felt something there. That feels fruitful to me. Maybe that's my question for the day. Who's this agent collector? That sounds very like IRS-y. Who's the collector of all the things that have arisen, that have appeared to you? I don't like the word you. In this life that make you feel like, that's me. I can tell a story. All these arisings have been mine. They've happened to me, or I have been the agent to do them. And it's just so trippy, isn't it? Now it's only maybe an interesting question if on some felt sense this is resonating, like you're like, yeah, something has not felt right for a long time about, like, we all buy into this idea that we have this me, this I, this self, and maybe it hasn't really ever felt right. Something's felt weird about it, like we all, and it's almost like a shared hallucination or shared delusion. And we do that. We show up with each other and say, hi, Joe. And what's funny is, like, I love to think about that too. Oh man, this is getting so off topic, but is it? I don't think so. I think it's all on topic. And think about how, let's say your name is whatever your name is, and I say, hi. And in my mind, I feel like I have this idea of a person in you. Like, all of my experiences with you have amounted to this visual, this feeling, this sense of this cohesion, this cohesive individual in my mind that is you, that is obviously so different from how you take yourself to be, that it's like, you could say, you don't know me. And you'd be right. But I have this whole thing that says, I know you. And what I'm saying is, like, I know my version of you. And it has literally nothing to do with who you take yourself to be. And then you are doing the same thing to me. And I'm like, you don't know me. You have no idea all the thoughts in this head, all my life experiences, all that I've collected, that I've patched together to say, here's my idea of me. Do you know how many ideas of you there are? It's innumerable. However many people you've met, that's how many versions of you exist in the world. And it is freaking trippy to think about that. Like, how could just thinking about that even makes me feel like that is more fruitful of a contemplation to me than even just like, who am I? Like, what is this? Because it really gets at the whole, like, what is an I? What is a me? What is this? I keep wanting to say the word cohesion of this collection of experiences and thoughts. And, you know, over time, it's become like the common language is like, well, you do have a sense of self, you have an ego, you have a personality. Like, we just take these things as like, that's what makes you you, and that you're a human with desires and intentions and motivations and like all the things that we've collected and said, yeah, that's me, that's me, that's me. And yet it just does not exist. It's just a thought. It's just a thought, and a thought is, what even is a thought? Have you ever thought about what a thought is? What is a thought? Oh man, it's so trippy. But this idea of a self is just a thought. It's a thought that I have about me, and then who you take me to be is just a thought. It's like one thought right now that is informed by all of our interactions with each other. But it's just a thought arising right now. Like, and when I'm in conversation with somebody, let's say in person, and we're interacting, we're doing our human thing, like, look at us, two like senses of selfing with each other. And I have my sense of self right now, and I know who I'm thinking I'm talking to, and then reverse that, flip it around and reverse it. You've got the same thing happening, and it's like, how many selves are doing? And then that idea I have of you is changing real time in the moment. Like, I might have these different ideas of you, like, oh, their mood shifted, I felt that, like, oh yeah, and they're saying about this, and then like that sense of self is morphing real time. And like who I take myself to be can be morphing real time. Like, yeah, I feel, and it's just like, so there is no like cohesive, consistent, solid identity agent. So that's where in the past I've always assumed my agency is singular and localized. I have free will. Here's me moving through the world as this sense of self that feels pretty solid. Now, I totally love trusting in the universe. I don't know what else to call it. The unknown, to me, I just say the universe. To me, it's the unknown. I trust in the things I cannot know, that work in ways that I cannot see, that bring things about real time. Like, oh, this is appearing, and I honestly don't even put much thought into like what it all took to get, well, I do think about it a lot, but in the moment, I'm more like, wow, all the things that must have gone on to make this happen. But I don't really try to go back and piece it all together. I'm just sometimes dumbstruck by like, whoa. Like, if you get a synchronicity zing of like, can you imagine like the odds of this ever happening again? And that all the things that must have like come together in a certain order and like on multiple levels and planes and dimensions to make this thing happen, this interaction happen. that's just like the beauty of like this lived experience, isn't it? And that's what I mean by like, what the hell is free will? I'm no longer a diehard believer in it. I do still like to think like sometimes when I'm selfing and I'm like, yeah, I have some goals. I want to do these things. I think it would make me feel good. I think it'd like be a little fulfilling and give me those other zings like, woo, yay, I'm humaning. And it feels good. Like I feel like I'm doing life. I feel like I'm getting better at life, year by year. So to me, that's fun. But outside of that, I don't want to put much like emphasis on it, like importance, other than like, hey, this is kind of fun to do. I like feeling those like, yeah, I'm doing life. I feel like I'm getting better at it. I feel like, and that's okay. Like I came here into this world and said, let's do some stuff. Let's feel what it's like to be human and messy and like do weird stuff and then do things and then feel bad and then be like, ooh, I don't want to feel that anymore. Let's course correct. I feel like life is just a bunch of like course correcting until like everything feels good. Oh, I think I'll end on that.